Almost Sideways, a place for movie conversation. My name is Adam. I have a fun topic here. With the latest release of Mortal Kombat 2021, I wanted to give you guys 5 video game movies that you guys should check out. You may have seen some of these movies, but I want to give you guys my recommendations for some movies that I really thought were a fun time at the movies. Now, these may not be the best adaptations for the video games. I know that very well for firsthand, but there's some enjoyment to be had. Rather it be it's so bad, it's good territory, to actually being a good movie. Now, these are not my ranking by any means of my favorite video game movies, but you are more than welcome to leave in the comment section down your ranking or some of your recommendations for video game movies. Again, this is only my top 5, so I will be kicking it off with some honorable mentions, of course. So my recommendations that are just missing, my top 5 biggest recommendations for you, I would say Angry Birds. I'm not a big fan of this movie per se, but it's a good family-friendly fare that especially my daughter is a big fan, so I had to mention Angry Birds, the movie. Not the second one, just Angry Birds 1. I've also really enjoyed that Alicia Vikander's Tomb Raider movie. Angelina Jolie still has her beat, but I'm very curious to see what the next chapter for Lara Croft going forward may be. Vikander did a really cool job in this. It really kind of got that feel of that PlayStation 3/4 version of Lara Croft. And my last recommendation, you have to play this alongside with the video game. I would say Ratchet and Clank. Now, this movie kind of set the games where they actually made a PlayStation 4 game that was kind of based off this kind of universe here. The game is by far superior than the movie, but if you kind of like Ratchet and Clank and you love that PS4 video game, you might be interested in checking out the movie. It came out a few years ago. My daughter and I kind of had some fun with it. Not the greatest Ratchet and Clank thing. The game is what you're really kind of paying attention here for, but it's a good one to kind of get you into that vibe. Anyway, let's go into my top 5 video game recommendations in no particular order, kind of just what I'm kind of shooting off the cuff here. And again, leave yours down in the comments section down below. Number 5 on my list for really cool, fun, action-y stuff here. All right, so I have to go with a kind of an older video game movie to kind of kick it off this list. And I think to no chagrin here, I'm going to go with Angelina Jolie's Lara Croft Tomb Raider. Now, the reason why I'm picking this film is that it is the perfect mixture of action, video game adaptation, video game ridiculousness, and nostalgic cheese for me that just absolutely pays off. Seeing Angelina Jolie absolutely own this role, one of my favorite performances from her because she absolutely knocks us off the park. You can definitely tell that in 2001, Simon West kind of big movie crush on her because when he does a lot of crazy shots with Angelina Jolie, and she absolutely comes off as like the most amazing person possible. I absolutely kind of have a lot of fun with this movie as well. And I think there's a lot to kind of like, you see John Voight shows up in here. I think Daniel Craig, actually, James Bond shows up in this movie. And so Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider from 2001. It's going to be on my list as that big action-y adventure video game adaptation that you should definitely be checking out. Number 4 on my list has to go to a kid adaptation, one of those ones that the whole family can absolutely enjoy. And I'm picking between 2 different movies here. It's either Sonic the Hedgehog or Detective Pikachu. However, I think overall I'm going to go with Detective Pikachu on this one. Now, it's a video game that it's a series of games / cards. I never really was allowed to play Pokemon, fun fact, which my mom didn't want me to play it. However, after I'd grown up, I watched the movie, and I absolutely was charmed and delighted for this film here. I really loved seeing all the different Pokemon, and I know a lot of people were very nostalgic for this, especially Pokemon Go came into the forefront right when the movie came out. So lots of stuff to love about this game, and I hope we get a second one of them, but also don't sleep on Sonic the Hedgehog. I think that's a good family fun movie you guys should all watch as well. Number 3, gotta go with a movie that is kind of a fighting video game movie. And I'm going to go with, you would think Mortal Kombat, not Street Fighter, not Mortal Kombat, unfortunately here, but I'm going to go with Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge. Now, this is an animated movie that came out in 2020, directed by Ethan Spalding. And it's actually Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge. Sorry about that, let me correct the title. But this is a very graphic, in-your-face, rated R, I believe, animated kind of Mortal Kombat movie. It is very graphic, but tons of fun. If you are really wanting to see a cool Mortal Kombat movie, granted, this is before I'm filming this before I watch the 2021 version. This is a very brutal, in-your-face Mortal Kombat movie that I would definitely recommend you watch if you're a fan of these characters and you want to see some really cool action and you don't mind the animatedness of these characters. If you're a fan, basically, if you're a fan of like any DC animated movie, you're probably going to like this one as well. So definitely check out Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge. Probably another recommendation that I'm going to give you guys, we're going to go into another shooter horror franchise, and that is going to be the Resident Evil franchise. However, my favorite movie in this franchise, which has some minor ups, but a lot more downs in the film. So I'm probably going to go with Resident Evil Apocalypse here because it has the Nemesis in it, one of the big bad himself in this film. I give the slight edge. The first three Resident Evil films for me are actually pretty enjoyable. They're not terrible in my mind, but Resident Evil Apocalypse has a little bit more action-y stuff, has some cool horror scares, I guess, and also you got the Nemesis showing his ugly face, walking around with a giant submachine gun on his arm, basically giving you Resident Evil 3 vibes, which I absolutely dig and love. And I think it's really cool that we get to see Nemesis on the big screen. I wish we saw like Mr. X from Resident Evil 2 in there. We don't get him in this, but after all these Resident Evil remakes of the video games, I kind of really dig this one a little bit more because we get to see Nemesis on the big screen in live action form, and we don't get to run from him on the video game itself. So I'm going to give you guys my probably Resident Evil Apocalypse, as my second recommendation you could check out. All right, so my number one recommendation here, it might be cheating, but it has to go to a Dwayne Johnson movie. He's been in two video game adaptations, and I kind of dig both of them for what they are. Number one recommendation, of course, is going to be Rampage, based off the Rampage video games, where we see a giant gorilla take on a giant crocodile and a giant wolf. And of course, Dwayne Johnson's there fighting alongside him, which because he's larger than life, he's the Brahma Bull, right? But anyway, that's a pretty ridiculous movie, but it's still a kind of fun, action-y film that does kind of capture a little bit of the feel, and also has a little nostalgic Easter egg for fans of the video game as well. But the other one, I want to give you guys a recommendation to watch Doom. Go watch Doom again. Not maybe the whole entire movie because it is kind of ridiculous and doesn't really capture the feel of the video game. But one sequence is totally worth the recommendation to watch. And it's this sequence right here. Now, I can't show the whole sequence because of copyright, but if you're listening on the podcast, you may or may not be able to see the whole sequence, or at least listen to the whole sequence. But anyway, that's my recommendations. What are your guys' recommendations for video game movies? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let's hit a fun conversation. Make sure you hit that X button on the subscribe button today to stay up to date for more movie-related conversations and fun pieces as well like this. So, again, my name is Adam. Thank you so much for stopping by. Until next time, check out our podcast as well. Until next time, I'll see you later.